His divine Krishna Bhajanarinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagad Prabhupada Anant Koti Vaishnavanda ki jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai, Principal Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadip Mai Bhagwan ki jai, Jagannath Puridham ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Tulsi Maharani ki jai, Samavita Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nidai Gaur Pramananda, Om Glories to Swami, Om Krishna Swami, Om Glories to Swami, Glories to Sri Sri Guru Sri Guru. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter number 79. Lord Balaram goes to pilgrimage. This chapter describes how Lord Baldev satisfied the Brahmanas by killing Balbala, bathed at various holy places, pilgrimage sites, and attempted to dissuade Bhimsen and Duryodhan from fighting. At the sacrificial arena of the sages at Namisharanya forest, a harsh wind began to blow on the new moon day, spreading the obnoxious smell of pus and obscuring everything with dust. The demon Balbala then appeared there with a trident in his hand, his massive body pitch black and his face very frightening. Lord Baldev caught the demon with his plough and then struck him a ferocious blow on the head with his club, killing him. The sage chanted Baldev's glories and presented him with lavish gifts. Lord Balaram then began his pilgrimage, during which he visited many holy tirthas. Then he heard the news of the battle between Kurus and Pandavas. The Lord went to Kurukshetra to try to stop the duel between Bhima and Duryodhan, but he could not dissuade them from fighting. So deep was their enmity. Understanding that the fight was on the arrangement of the fate, Lord Baldev left the battlefield and returned to Dwarka. Sometimes later, Balaram again went to the Naimisharanya forest, where the sages performed a number of fire sacrifices on his behalf. Lord Baldev reciprocated by granting the sages transcendental knowledge and revealing them his eternal identity. So, Sukadeva Swami then starts. Sukadeva Swami said that on the new moon day, okay, a fierce and frightening wind rose, scattering dust all about and spreading the smell of pus everywhere. Next, onto the sacrificial arena, came down a pour of abominable things sent by Balwant, after which the demon himself appeared, trident in his hand. The next was 3 and 4. Tam vilokya bharat kayam vignanjana chapoyam taptam ashikham ashrum drashto brukutik mukham sasmar mushalam ramam parasanya vidaranam halam cha daitya damanam te turnam upastatu. The immense demon resembled a mass of black carbon. His topknot and beard were like molten copper, and his face has horrible fangs and furrowed eyebrows. Upon seeing him, Lord Balaram thought of his club, which tears to pieces his enemy's armies, and his proud weapon, which punishes the demons. Thus summoned, these two weapons appeared before him at once. Number 5. Tamakrishya halagrena balvalam gaganekcharam musale hanan krittol murti brahmagraham balaka. With the tip of his plough, Lord Balaram caught hold of the demon Balvala, and he flew through the sky, and with his club the Lord angrily struck the harasser of the Brahmins on the head. And number 6. So apad Bhavin Nirpalan Lalakato Ashut Samatsrajan Munchastyangas Pramshailo Yatha Vrajato Aruna. Balbal cried out in agony and fell to the ground, his forehead cracked open and gushing blood. He resembled a red mountain struck with a lightning bolt. In the pulpit, the disciples of his divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, according to the Acharyas, the demon appeared reddish with blood, like a mountain red with oxide. Prabhupada is very famous of chemical words, chemistry words. So his disciples are taking the same word to express. Red oxide is kumkum. Actually, it is arsenic. Arsenic. Plumble oxide is arsenic, and arsenic is poisonous. And that is red in color. Kumkum. Kumkum खा नहीं पाएंगे. अभी तो बहुत सारे chemical the original kumkum that put in the plant is nothing but red oxide of lead, and it's very arsenic. Means poisonous. Srila Prabhupada knew that Makantvaj Bhutika in Ayurveda is a very cure of heart problems. Cure in Ayurveda. And Prabhupada knew. So during the last days of Srila Prabhupada, he was telling that there is only one medicine that he knows that becomes effective on his disease. That is Makantvaj Bhutika. And Makantvaj Bhutika can be only made by a very devout devotee who is free from sex desire. And where to find? He says, go and look for. There are very, very matters. So, my GPC also went in the month of January 1977 to India to search for Prabhupada. And he is over enthusiastic. So, they were looking for some Kaviraj who can make Makantvaj Bhutika. And according to Srila Prabhupada's desire, they were looking for, and somebody came in their mind because in inquiring, and devotees found out that in one of the South Indian temples, which is located in Delhi, and there is a Kaviraj. So they approached him, and he said, please give me 1 week. I will meditate and will try to make it. And he made it. That was Gutika, Prashur Prabhupada, and he brought. So the devotees brought, and that was the last thing that Srila Prabhupada was given the medicine. Now, knowing this was arsenic, Prabhupada also calls it poison. Alright? He calls it poison. But that is the remedy. And you should be taken in a certain amount. Alright? So, from this point onwards, when Swami was in charge to give the medicine, slowly, with little amount. And from this point, it became a controversy. The Prabhupada was given poison. The devotees with malice gave him poison. But it is a very controversial thing. They will defeat it on and off. They said, no, we should look into that. And some devotees were having even some remnants of Srila Prabhupada after his departure. They will keep it as a precious thing. So they say we will go and get the lepers. So arsenic goes in the hair. Right? So they found some arsenic. But the whole Ganges is filled with arsenic, in my opinion. And the rice you eat, in my opinion, also has arsenic. So, does it mean that they are arsenic poisoned? No. So, in America, anything goes. They don't tell you this. But this red mountain of arsenic, that was Bhagavatam. So, Balaram kills him because his poison is in nature. Right? And we see that people make controversies even though they don't understand the spiritual aspect. So those who are very faithful to Srila Prabhupada and trying to keep his glories up, they will stick to work and sacrifice that Srila Prabhupada made to glorify His holy name and preach for the world. That potency is to solve the material problems of birth, death, old age, and disease. And how come some envious persons who are not of people from nature do not understand? So there were books written. Even Srila Prabhupada thinks, not that I am poisoned, not that I am poisoned, but medicine is poisonous. And it should be taken in very, very calm and very righteous. Now, people go through chemotherapy and all of the, like radiotherapy. Is it poisonous or not? How it is compared to controlled administration. So, people of envious nature, they want to create a controversy because they are envious of other devotees who are trying to manage his institution. we have a lot of scientists. Krishna Maharaj is a scientist. I never agree with this. So there was a big court case and it was just nullified. Instead of glorifying Lautoka, they are increasing that he was mercilessly killed. This is the nature of enviousness. Enmity keeps on, they cannot go back to God. They have been taking this thing that Ichha, Vesha Samuttera, Vanta Mohena Bharata, Sarva Bhutani Sammoha, Sarveyanti Parandapa. That is enviousness against Lord Shri Krishna. That means against his pure devotees also. That amounts to go to hell's region of ignorance. It's all the people of the world. We are all fallen through this agency of hate towards Krishna. Ichha Krishna. Krishna is spelling out so definitely that our dilemma is that we do not consider. Does anybody consider he is envious of Krishna? Are you envious? See? No. Everybody will deny. I am not envious, but you are doing the work against them. You want to become Lord and Master. So, Balaram kills envious entities. Doesn't want them to exist anymore because he is something potential. He wants only purity is the force. So, what we as students of Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita, they are supposed to learn that we should stop enmity. We should stop enmity. Otherwise, we will be sunk into material world. We should not even criticize a devotee who has dedicated his life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. So, this red oxide, if you Google, you Google red oxide in your computer and find out. Okay? What does it mean? Just check. So, lead is poisonous. Without red oxide, lead is also poisonous. The bootleggers means, if they do not get the regular, vodka or alcoholic drinks, they make their own. And generally the pipes that are cooling the vapor of fermented things, they contain lead. So people drink that and they get lead poisoning. Even the children were getting lead poisoning because of pure water. So there were studies, we were also dedicated to the studies of lead poisoning. So it's not that red oxide is the only poison. Lead itself is poisonous. So, according to the acharyas, the demons appear reddish with blood like a mountain of red oxide. Number 7. Sanskrityasya Sanskritya Munayo Ramam Prayujya Avitakha Asishaha Abhyasichana Mahabhaga Vruta Kharnam Vibuddha Yatha Sanstustya Manayo Ramam Pratyudvavita Kashisha Abhyasinchan Mahabhaga Vrutaghram Vibhudayatha Sanstustya Munayo Ramam Prayujya Vishatatha Abhyasinchan Mahabhaga Vrutaghram Vibhudayatha Sanmunayo Ramam Pradyujya Vishatatha Abhyasinchan Mahabhaga Vrutaghram Vibhudayatha Sanskritya sincerely praising Munayaha, the sages, Ramam, Lord Balaram, Prayujya, awarding Avitaka, infallible, Archishaha, benedictions, Abhyasinchan, ceremoniously, Ved, Mahabhaga, the great personalities, Vruta, of Vrutrasur, Nam, the killer, Lord Indra, Vibhuda, the demigods, Yatha, is. Translation. The exalted sages honored Lord Rama with sincere prayers and awarded him infallible blessings. Then they performed his ritual bath, just as the demigods had performed Indra when he killed Dhritarashtra. Text number 8. Vaijayanti durmala dudurmalam dhamam shri dhamam var pankajam ramaya vasasi divye divyanan bharani cha. Vaijayanti, named Vaijayanti, the Guru, they gave Mala, the flower garland, Shri of the goddess of fortune, Dhamma, the ever, Anglana, Anglana, unfading, Pankaja, made of lotus flower, Ramaya to Lord Balaram, Vasasi, a pair of upper and lower garments, Divya, divine, Divyani, divine, Abharani, jewelry, church, and translation. They gave Lord Balaram a Vaijayanti garland of unfading lotuses in which resided the goddess of fortune, and they also gave him a set of divine garments and jewelry. अथ तैरभ्य अनुज्ञात कौशिकी नित्य ब्राह्मणी स्नात्वा सरोवरम अगाधत सरयू रासव्रत. अथ then तैहि by then अभ्य अनुज्ञात given leave Kaushiki to the Kaushiki river, it coming Brahmanahi with the Brahmanas, Natva, they came Sarovaram to the lake Agat land, Yataha, from which Saryu river, Asravat flows out. Translation. Then given leave by the sages, the Lord went with the contingent of Brahmanas to Kaushiki river, where he bathed. From there he went to the lake from which the river Saryu flows. Text number 10. Anusrotena Saryum Prayagam Upagamya Sa Snatva Santarpya Devadim Jagama Pulahashramam. Anu following Srotena, its current, Saryum along with Saryu, Prayagam, to Prayag, Upagamya coming, Sahavi, Snatva bathing, Santapya propitiating, Deva adding the demigods and so on. Jagama he went, Pulaha Ashramam, to the hermitage of Pula Rishi. Translation. The Lord followed the course of Saryu until he came to Prayag, where he bathed and then performed rituals to propitiate the demigods and other living beings. He next went to the ashram of Pula Rishi. Pula ashram is also known as Harikshetra. Om Jnanam Timirātasya Jnanam Janashraka Chakshurvilitam Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dadati Swaparantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Tutapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavascha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagrana Raghunatham Tam Tam Sakivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagrana Dalita Sri Shahanatamshra. He Krishna Karna Sundho Dinabandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopikatam Radha Kanta Namaste Takta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranam Hripriye Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sundhubhya Chapati Pranam Bhavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Gopale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Charine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य विस्तारे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे राम So all these places are in Uttar Pradesh and they are still the places of pilgrimage. So it's not like this is a make-believe story. This is Itihas. Puranas are histories. But it has a specific style of writing. There are 6 steps in every Purana. Sarga, Visarga. Creation, then Visarga by Brahma. So Puranas have been written, and up to Uti means conclusion. There are different Puranas attributed to different demigods. Brahmana Purana, then Nrsimha Purana will be there, dedicated to Lord Shiva. But every Purana has a style which is very specific. Very specific. So, history is there. History has to be written. And without history, you can't record. Our history is coming down from ages. And at every millennium, the things are getting repeated. Repeated. Do you think this is happening for the first time? No. Lord Krishna comes only one time in a day of Brahma, but Brahma lives for how many years? So every day, at least Krishna will come once. Other avatars will be coming 1,000 times. But Krishna comes only one time. So 1:1,000 is a ratio. Right? So but the history repeats itself. Because the life is repeating. Right? The birth is there, the growth is there, maturity is there, producing byproduct is there, starts dwindling and disappears. 6 changes are there. Everybody goes through. But the history belongs to material world. In spirituality, it is fact and it is forever. So there is no question of, say, repetition. It is ever going. Just like the sun never sets. It may be setting for us. Because we have limited span of vision or thinking. Everybody doesn't know. Oh, Surya to go Vega, it is always there somewhere in the other part of the world. If you have limited knowledge, it doesn't make the history limited. That is the common sense. So, but history is required to remind us of repeatedly. Reminder is there because we tend to forget. Why do we forget? Our forgetfulness is at the extent of or the degree of our remembering Krishna. If we forget Krishna, we forget everything. We are not the part of history then. The history is the record of so many incidents of the great devotees, rishis, acharyas, gurus. They are expounding the absolute truth, nothing but absolute truth, Lord Shri Krishna. Just to give us the hope for our own salvation, hope for our own redeeming. If we do not take advantage of such a rare opportunity, but it happens only in culture that has been advanced in spiritual world. Therefore, we have to be proud of our Indian heritage, or what we call Vedic heritage. And Vedas were our guideline in the history. Vedas, Purana. Vasudev has to divide in so many sections. So every subject matter will be conglomerating in Vedas. So many records are there. And you will become mad if you try to look into it. Because just like the creation is immense and you are a tiny being, a tiny soul cannot understand the limits of unlimited. Cannot understand the limits of unlimited. So, but we get a glimpse in a very condensed form. In a very condensed form. Vyasadeva knew everything for one condensed sutra called Brahma Sutra or Vedanta Sutra. Janma Yasya Yata. Janma Adi Yasya Yata. Only 4 words. But he described in 80,000 verses. Srimad Bhagavatam. Only 4 words. Janma Adi Yasya Yata. That is the only Vedanta Sutra. But it is so condensed that the whole Srimad Bhagavatam interests. So, the very first verse that we study, Janmatyasya yata anmayad itaraskyate abhikya swara ene brahmaradaya adi kavaye bhiyatiya suraya tejo varimna mithabini mayotri sargo amrusha dhamna svetastra kotakam satyam param dhimati. And this verse proceeds with 18,000 verses. Only one. So sutra condensed. Mantra also is a condensed form of conclusions. हमने बहुत सारी एंड अपने को लगा दी है. So, इधर भी है. ये भी निकालो. So, why history has to repeat itself? Why Krishna arranged this? only repetition. Don't you repeat every day the same thing that you did yesterday? When you get up, brush your teeth. Okay. You take bath and then take some prasad. Every day the same thing. What we are able to do physically every day, that we are taught. If you have been aborigine, nobody needs to teach you. Aborigines were not doing the brushing the teeth and everything. Right? So they became knowledgeable, then they have to do the routines every day. Then, what do we gain? At the end of the day, doing repeatedly, we come chewing the chew, which has no juice. You don't get anything. Okay, I will live for tomorrow, I will live for 100 years like that. But it is useless. But we are taught that we are forgetting. We are taught because we are forgetting. So we have to learn what is the original teaching about my own self, reality. Who am I? Why am I here? Why do I have to go through the compulsory, painful existence? Just like the other day I asked you, is birth happy? Painful, right? Very painful. Death is painful or happy? And the disease are a very happy disease. And old age is a happy old age. My old age is very happy. Because I have learned something. So everybody is supposed to learn what they have forgotten. So the point is that history is there, Puranas are there, and all histories. Bhagavatam is a different kind of history. But it is history. Bhagavatam is considered to be Purana. It explains everything. The purpose. So when we say, what is the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam? Why it is becoming completely distinct from other Puranas, but we do not find in that much detail. How does Srimad Bhagavatam help us? In a very different way.
It helps us realize who we are. It helps us realize who we are.
Helps us realize who we are.
Helps us to realize who we are. Helps, she says, helps us to realize who we are.
Oh, it helps us to find out who we are. That's all. What we are supposed to do. How do we want to live? That we never become miserable ever again. How to go back to Godhead where we will never become miserable again. Mam vedetu kaunteya dukhalayam shashvatam na pravanti mahatmana Samsiddhi Paramam Gata. Man can achieve the highest success in the human form of life by achieving me, that he will forever give up this miserable material world and he will never come back. And that is the highest achievement. So to go back to Godhead, those who have gone, they are revealing in the history. So it is said, otherwise, other Puranas and things were there. They could not help us. They can tell us how to become happy within the material world. But Bhagavatam is different. Every Puranas are describing about the material world, very little about the spiritual world. So, everybody will be thinking something that how to live very happily in a very religious way through the agency of other Puranas. Srimad Bhagavatam is different. It gives us direct access how to please the Lord. Other Puranas do not give us direct access. So it is said, Krishna Swadhamo Bhagate Dharma Jnana Vidhusa. When Krishna left this Bhauma Vrindavan and went back home, back to his Godhead, his original place, he took away along with him even religion and the knowledge of the Shastra. Dharma Jnana Devi Sara, along with, as they accompanied Krishna. Where Krishna is there, Dharma will be there. Jnana will be there. In the absence of Krishna, they will also go with him. So, Kalam Nashta Dashanesha, in the Kali Yuga, we lost where to look for Dharma. Purano Kalpo Adhunodita, the sun, brilliant sun of Srimad Bhagavatam has arisen to give that religion back. So how devotees have to confine? When Krishna was there, how many people went back on back to God? Only those who knew Krishna, those who followed Krishna. And how many were there? Dronacharya, the Guru, Vishnu Pitama, then who else? 5 Pandavas, Kunti, and Draupadi also. Vishnu Pitama.
Vidura.
Huh?
Vidura.
Vidura. But they were busy in other devotional services. They were pure devotees, but pure devotees were left behind.
Buddha.
Yeah, but they are Krishna's eternal associates. But from the living entity, those who are in material world, they may be in demigods, but they are still in material. Okay. Vishnu Pitama was Vasu, chief of the Vasus, the demigod who controls the material energies. And he was in service of Chaturmukh. He was his boss. So he knew Krishna is the original Chaturmukh. So therefore he requested, can you show me your 400 form? Yeah, that is my golden master. Krishna showed. But Chaturmukh cannot show 200 form. Chaturmukh cannot show 200 form. Only 200 form shows his Chaturmukh. All Shastra. So the point is very important that Srimad Bhagavatam is a different kind of literature. Tadavaga visargo janataga vipravo yasmin pratishlokam abhaddhavatapi namani anantasya yasho ankitanya shurmanti gayanti smaranti saro. On the other behalf, Srimad Bhagavatam is such a literature because it is filled with the transcendental qualities, not material qualities. Sattva, Raja, Guna, or Tama Guna, they are totally absent in Srimad Bhagavatam. And Sat Chidanand Guna is predominantly explained. Right? So therefore, that realm is spiritual, but other Puranas are not totally spiritual. They have a lot of material distributions. That Vaka Visarga, detailing in the creation. And that creates Janatana Vikrama. Such a literature creates a rebellion against the sinful life of man and this planet Earth. Rebellion against the sinful life. In ignorance we are living sinful life, right? But Srimad Bhagavatam rebels against it and puts up the purity of spirit. Even if it is compiled, let's say, Yasmin Pratishlokam Abhaddhavatapi. Even if the slokas are not compiled in proper grammatical way, but because it is transcendental literature, Shramantika, this one, this one, those who are purified, transcendental, they will always glorify this literature. So, literature that has been written in the transcendental way, and any literature that is also pursuant to this transcendental literature, of orthodox. Blaspheme the literature that is in pursuance of the Vedic version is an offense on the holy name. So, when this Srimad Bhagavatam helps us to purify our material nature and turn into spiritual nature, and opens up the gate to go back home back to God. No other literature is capable to do it. So, this is very important. Balaram was not desiring. But who is Balaram? Balaram was not desiring that Arjun and Duryodhana fight. Because Balaram taught the Dada Yuddha, how to fight with the club to Duryodhana. He was his student. Okay. And Krishna desired that no, Bhimsen should take advantage to fight Duryodhana. Not only Duryodhana, but Jarasandha also. Because they are formidable enemies. Not ordinary enemies. And they are enemies of Krishna. So if somebody is envious of the Supreme Lord, he can also be envious of devotees. Envious of devotees. So we have to be very good. Yesterday I gave some we have to remove enmity. Try to strengthen our spiritual identity. That's why Srila Prabhupada ordered to build up this temples. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the only literature, and Balaram is the Sandhini potency of Lord Shri Krishna. Means it will make anything manifest, spiritual or material. In the form of Ananta Shesh Balaram manifest the material world. So Balaram can create new Vrindavan anywhere. Right? Balaram can create new Vrindavan. He already created new Vrindavan where? In Dwarka. Because that was the desire of Devaki. Devaki did not witness his childhood pastimes. Right? Till they moved to Dwarka. That was the priority. So Devaki is asking, Krishna, I know you are the Supreme Person. God, you can do anything. You cannot fulfill my desire so far. How much time I have to wait for? From the first millennium I have been desiring you to be my child so I can see your childhood pastimes. But you came as my son. As Hiranyagarbha. You came for some other purpose and went away. So in second millennium we kept the desire of flaming and worked hard to obtain you. You came as Vaman Rupa and again cheated us. He cheated not only Baliman, but you also cheated us. So in the third millennium we became Vasudeva and Devaki. And still you got an excuse to get out from the jail. Yes, well, how can I perform pastime, childhood pastime in the jail? You have to be broad-hearted. Even at the extent that Devaki and Vasudeva became original father and mother. Yet their parenthood was taken away by Krishna. And instead of then Nanda and Yashoda became very fortunate to enjoy the childhood pastimes. So in Dwarka, after all, Devaki's burning desire was this. I know you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we came to serve you. We serve, but I have this burning desire. only Devaki. Vasudeva was okay, but Devaki has very, very deep desire. She cannot forget. So she was expressing in Dwarka. Rukmini was next door, but she was listening through the gate. So Krishna says, okay, I'm ready. So he called, hey, thou, Bhaiya, come. Mother wants to see our childhood pastimes. Can you create new Vrindavan here in Dwarka? And Balaram said, no problem. So he created everything. He created their mother Yashoda also. And in our sense, the diagram of Mother Yashoda was put. Sanatana Goswami says she was holding Mother with wide open eye when Lala will come and steal away from her. And a beautiful scene was there. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sanatana Goswami writes this wonderful, wonderful pastime. See the transcendental potency at work. And Krishna is coming, says Mother Yashoda, still some butter. And grace, the Devaki was becoming so much heavy inside that so many pastimes Krishna showed like this to fulfill her desire. That is the perfection in Lord Vrindavan. So, they gained their original form and they worship the Supreme Lord as parents. They were not witness of the loving exchanges, but in this way they were satisfied to show the new Vrindavan. And Prabhupada desired we should create. And some attempts were made, but it was pretty hard. Even in America, new Vrindavan is waiting. I spent about 7-8 years there. But that is Prabhupada's desire. They will come. So, Balaram is going for pilgrimage. In the pilgrimage, all these places we visited last year. Saryu and so many places. So, we need to relish according to the description of the Bhagavatam. Where is Saryu flowing? Which direction? North, south, east, west. And where does it meet? You should look into Google. Origin of the Saryu River. Lord Ramchandra, Ayodhya, is a Saryu River. A lot of controversial things. But it's reappearing. This should be studied. If you catch phone in your hand, don't do anything else, but go for Google. Alright? the pilgrimage of and Pula Ashram, Pula Rishi is also very famous. Ramchandra went. So that entire patch of is there. Then he came eastward towards Nasik. The Dandakaranya forest is there. There is Nasik. Why Nasik? Because Suparnakha's nose was cut by Lakshman. Actually, my hometown is also touching the border of the Dandakaranya forest, Nandachil, that is in Gujarat. Then Maharashtra, Nasik comes. So this is the place. So we have a place about 15 kilometers away from my hometown. It's called Unai. There are hot water, springs there. And Ramchandra, Sita and Lakshman, they were passing. And Sita wanted to take bath. And she came out. She said, Unai, I take bath. Now who was take bath? Unai. Means I took bath. The village is called Unai. And there are special buses going. It's like a place of pilgrimage. People come just to take bath. Even the monkeys take hot water baths. In Fiji there are no hot water. Oh yes. There?
Sabu Sabu.
South. No.
That's maybe.
Near airport? Nadi.
Oh yes, Madpool.
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 Okay.
But Sabu Sabu hot spring.
I didn't go in South. Any question? Histories are not fake. Yeah. I cannot hear you speak.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. In Kali Yuga, how important it is to go to pilgrimages or just Harinam is enough?
It is very important to revive our original consciousness. What do we have otherwise? In the West, there is no history, so there are no places of pilgrimage there. That is in India, not even in China, except Mansarovar or Kailas. That's the history. Historically, Vedic civilization is the oldest civilization. The envious people, they say, no, our civilization is computer, building. We'll use everything. Prabhupada said we'll use everything what they make. We don't have to spend our life after making it. No. It's very cool to go for pilgrimage because it gives a revival of our consciousness. We need, and that is the best situation Krishna ordained at the age of Krishna. If you can do before, all right. But the best thing is to do it Krishna. When children are only grown, you don't have to take care. Otherwise, you bring the children right. That's advantage.
Why Balaram did not participate in the war?
Balaram doesn't want to oppose Lord Krishna's desire. He knew what Krishna is going to do because he's his first body. Who will know Krishna better than Balaram? Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead. He will do. Yada yada hi dharmasya gladir bhavati bhavatam siddhanam dharmasya bhavatam. He comes. He is the boss. Balaram is his first body to expand his glories, Krishna's glories. That is the service of Balaram. Not only that it expands spiritually, but also materially also. He is in charge. Krishna doesn't do any damn thing. He is the Lord and Master. He appears on his sweet will. Nobody can force him. He is the only lovable object even for Balaram. Why Balaram would oppose him? But Krishna made Balaram, you also make Duryodhana a tough fighter. I will see. So Balaram knew the outcome. That's why he went on pilgrimage. Why should he enter into that? Otherwise, conflict of desire will happen. He knows a devotee always becomes very careful, does not create a conflict of a separate desire. What is conducive, he can put forward in a very gentleman way. If it is acceptable by contemporary devotees, that is fine. Otherwise, you cannot do my way or highway in ISKCON. You are not Krishna. So we have full faith on Krishna's. And we have to act in the terms of devotional service. We are not Lord and Master. Anybody who circumvents it, he has no value. He will completely separate from the desire of Srila Prabhupada and will not succeed.
Guru Maharaj, what happens to those devotees or outsiders who steal Krishna's property?
What happens to those devotees who
Steal Krishna's property, maybe Krishna's money, donation, or any other thing from Krishna? Jewelries?
Steal Krishna's property. Stealing Krishna's property, what happens to them?
stealing Krishna's property? Oh my God. You think Krishna is going to give them up? No. Maria Maharaj is taking care, full care. Ishamashamidam sarvam yatkinchit jagatyam jagattena tektena bhunjita. You have been given your quota. Stay with it, just to maintain body and soul together. But So in the degree of our stealing from Krishna, to that degree we are responsible. Each of every one of us. Because everything belongs to Krishna. It doesn't mean you have to count dollars. No, you have to count everything. I, me and mine, you know, should be dissolved. So who am I? I'm servant of Krishna. Total surrender without any attachment other than worship Krishna service. So in that degree we are all thieves.
Maharaj, we are already thieves. We always take mango from trees. We always.
I took so many mangoes. I'm a thief. Right? Yes. Krishna is not going to cure bad habits. So he said, okay, these mangoes will control you. Right? But these devotees do not value these mangoes. You know? You don't get this kind of mangoes in Australia or Australia. No. So you are lucky. There are always better mangoes somewhere else, not in Australia. Anyway, they look good, but they don't taste good. Nothing can beat Fiji except Alfonso. All right, so Prabhupada